Hello, my children! Your father has brought you a new nail art video. I know, finally. The weather outside is getting colder, and that's inspired me to do some wintry nail art. It may be shocking, but I'm not actually a big fan of the holidays around this time, so this nail art is gonna go less ho 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 and more below low low zero. Boo. Tighten. Can you not shake? Because we're all going to hear it. Even though Halloween is my favorite holiday, winter is my favorite season because I'm the sweatiest woman in show business and I deserve a break from the heat. The only time I can ever feel cozy in an oversized sweater is when it's below freezing outside, so this is my time to thrive. We were literally outside walking Titan today, and the husband was freezing his little fingies off, and Titan and I were just having the time of our lives. I even had an iced coffee, because hot is the devil's temperature. So I already took off my last manicure on the main hand, and I only have a vague idea of what I'm gonna do, just wintry. So let's figure this out together. Let's go. I'm painting all of the nail art over a long-lasting base, and the first step is to lay the background colors. As you may have noticed it already, voiceover Nick is essentially a different person from Facecam Nick, so I'm gonna try to walk y'all through each design in a way that's easy to follow in case you want to try any of the nail art yourself. I'm also gonna show the trials and tribulations of the nail art and attempt to show y'all how to fix things when they go wrong, and go wrong they did. And it's a great sign when you find out you destroyed the first nail you painted by the time you got to the second coat. This was a catastrophic catastrophe, and I couldn't use my mush hack to fix it, so I prayed to the nail gods that a second coat would solve all of my problems. Spoiler alert, this nail is cursed. First of all, my camera decided that my finger was actually a Cheeto, and the white balance is all over the place, so apologies for that now. Moving on to the nail art, I know I wanted to do a fan brush gradient after some of y'all asked for a tutorial from my review of Holo Taco's Underglow collection, and the first step of that is to apply liquid latex around the nail. While it isn't required, it really does make cleanup easier, so I would highly recommend it. But my actual first step was to find my liquid latex first, because my desk, like the Yeti running on a hamster wheel in my brain, is utter chaos right now. See if you can find it. I'll wait. The next curse was that I somehow managed to get liquid latex on the tip of my nail, which I tried to save by using my cleanup brush, as the latex stuck to that more than the recently laid polish. And finally, to start the gradient, make 2 small pools of polish in the order you want to blend. Grab a fan brush and blend the 2 colors together with a swiping motion, and then swipe the brush onto the nails in the same vertical motion. Now typically for gradients, the base layer should be your lighter color, since darker polishes typically have more coverage. And here's the next place I went wrong. I picked Sabertooth and Fallen Angels by Mooncat, but I didn't test this combination and found that Fallen Angels was not quite opaque enough to blend nicely. Usually I paint the nail half and half, so the fan brush only needs to do the blending. But for some reason, this was not what I decided to do that day. I actually had to go in with more polish directly onto the nail to help build coverage and establish a stronger base for the gradient. And then I did another swipe by with the fan brush to try to establish a better blend. It worked well enough, so I removed the liquid latex with a pair of tweezers. Now make sure you take off the liquid latex when the polish is still wet, as when the polish dries on the latex, it will rip and not make a clean line. Also, apologies for blocking the camera during some of this. It's super important to take the latex lower to the nail, because if it breaks, it can snap back and land directly onto your nail, ruining the gradient you worked so hard to make. And while I was spared from that curse, I was not spared from the curse of having super curved nails, and I had to go in with my small brush to messily put the darker color onto the side of my nail. Then to fix that, I used my cleanup brush to get the excess off of my skin. Overall, this looked okay on camera, but in person the blend was not up to my standard. This was my first nail art I attempted to make for this video, so while I was still optimistic, I decided to move on to the other nails and come back to salvage this later. For the middle finger, I know I wanted to do a snowflake design, but I didn't want it to be in the center of the nail. So I started by putting a little bit of white polish on my mat and using my smallish brush to pull a vertical line and then 2 diagonal lines coming from the cuticle. Then I added a little V at the end of each line. I wasn't loving how lumpy the main lines were looking, so I ever so carefully thickened the lines to try to make them more uniform. If I was going to do this again, I would use a liner brush instead of the tiny brush, as it's far easier to make a straight uniform line when you just have to pull the brush back once. Finally, to finish the snowflake, I made more V's pointing into the other direction between each of the main lines. And at this point, my plan for this finger had ended, but I wasn't in love with it, so Nail Husband suggested adding something at the tip. I first painted a layer of Silver Flake Taco on the tip of the nail, but 1 coat wasn't enough, so I grabbed a makeup sponge and ripped a little bit off the end to make a mini sponge to dab on more of the topper. Using the sponge allows you to place a topper like this at a higher density because the sponge sucks up the base that the topper is in. I did a couple more coats of this until it looked icy enough, and the snowflake nail was complete. For the thumb, I wanted to lean into the cozy sweater vibe and attempt to make something that looked knit. I wanted the base color to be in the color palette that I already established, but also have some texture within it. I went with blue Berry-tastic by Zombie Claw because it is a cool gray base with blue metal flakes. I then went in with some white and my tiny brush again to make tiny little lines to represent the stitching of the sweater. I was trying to make a diamond shape, but without any of the lines connecting, with one column in the center and one on either end. I tried to hold the brush nearly parallel to the nail so I could place the mark in a combination of a dotting motion and a swiping motion so I can control the thickness better. Now, this one went relatively well, except for the fact that I should not do tiny nail art like this after having the iced coffee I talked about in the opening, as while trying to make super tiny controlled motions, I was shaking more than Titan during a thunderstorm. In the end, I was pretty surprised by how good this was coming out until the second to last freaking line. But it's fine. No one would have noticed it if I didn't tell y'all now. And in retrospect, I shouldn't have told y'all now. Anyways, the sweater nail is complete. For the ring finger, I wanted to try a nail art technique I saw on Instagram by Abe the Nail Babe. Here, let's watch together. He used liquid latex as a make-your-own nail vinyl and used a jelly polish to make a layered look. Abe made this when Holo Taco's Underglow collection was released, and I was obsessed because I knew I wanted to do a winter nail art video since then, but haven't had the time with all of the collections that launched recently. For my version, I didn't use the exact same colors as Abe. I wanted the background to not have a shimmer in it, so there's something creme to fit this design in with the other nails. I started by making a glob of liquid latex, the closest to the cuticle, to make the shape of the background of the design. I had to wait a couple of minutes for the liquid latex to dry before adding a thin coat of Swan Song to lighten and add a shimmer to the next layer up. Once again, when using liquid latex, make sure to remove it when the polish is still wet. On my first attempt, I think Abe's technique worked pretty well, but the only problem was how much time was needed to go between the layers, as I couldn't apply the next liquid latex layer until the previous layer was dried. So while these were drying between layers, I decided to try to salvage the cursed pinky nail. Now, the husband suggested covering the poor blend with a snowman, but I had some reservations at first because I specifically tried to take this out of a Christmas direction, but I couldn't think of anything else, so snowman it was. Help us settle the score here. Are snowmen inherently Christmas themed or winter themed? Let us know in the comments below. To build the little guy, I made 3 circles of white that got progressively smaller. I didn't like how tiny the head was at first, so I went back in to make him a little bigger. And to help him stand out more against the rest of the nail, I made a slightly lumpy French tip so that way he had some snow to stand on. Next, I used black polish to make his hat and somehow accidentally made a cowboy hat for him, so I'm not mad. Finally, I tried to make 3 super tiny dots for his midsection, but even though it looked like I was cured from this curse, it struck again and made the last dot super huge and off center. Determined to succeed, I went back over it again with white and tried another dot of black. And it worked. Even after all of the curses that were placed on this nail, the evil was finally defeated and the children in the land can rest easily. Yeah, no, I fucked it up while I was doing another layer on the ring finger. The dent was solvable though with my mush hack, so I flattened the dent and then added another layer of white to hide any imperfections. And if you ignore the lumpy base, finally the saga of the pinky nail is complete. To finish up the ring finger, I did one more coat using Abe's technique, but I got too impatient and I struggled to remove the liquid latex from the lowest layer, and once again, using my cleanup brush worked well to pick it up. I didn't want to wait more between layers because I was dreading the final nail art, so I went in directly with the white shimmer and it worked well enough to make the final foreground layer. Overall, I think this technique works well enough, but I'm nowhere near patient enough to use this for every single layer, so I'm probably just gonna paint it on like I did on the last coat. And in order to delay the torment of the next nail art ever so slightly, it's time for what's on my other hand. I'm wearing Holo Taco's Glazed Over with Confetti from Death Valley Nails. I have been waiting to do a manicure with Glazed Over since my Declassified 002 review, and I just bought this topper from Death Valley Nails, so it was a perfect marriage. I'm in love with this combo because it looks like the essence of Funfetti cupcake was slapped onto my fingertips, and it just looks so scrumptious and tasty. And it's also time for what's on my husband's hand? Because after the Mooncat Star Wars collection review, he came up with a combo of Dawn of the Empire in an Aura style and Devil's Advocate by Holo Taco. He picked a real nice, deep and vampy combo, so I had to show it off as well. Go give him some encouragements in the comments. Okay, I know I've been stalling, but I've been trying to avoid being haunted from a ghost of manicures past, but it's too late, time to move on. I did 4 coats of Milky White Shimmer to build it to opacity, and if the copious quantities of liquid latex around my finger has not given it away, it's time to water marble. Which means it's time for voiceover Nick to say goodbye, and I will leave you in the very incapable hands of Facecam Nick, who has no idea what he's in for. Tighten. If I ruin this on the very last step, I'm gonna be so mad. Husband, do I really have to do this?
Yes. Do it for the nail children.
Mm-hmm. Time to water marble, kids. Please send help. Oh, I didn't... Let's hope that... Oh, I wasn't even recording on this. So some of the advice that I was given last time was to use distilled water, to use warmer water, and the nail stamper, which I'm not doing. Am I doing? Wait, I was gonna try it. I have my water here. I used... It's not gonna mess up the nail. I used distilled water.
How you picked that up to show the back of it. It doesn't even say it's distilled water.
Fight me.
Trust us, YouTube. It's distilled.
Okay, I have my hot water, well, warm water here. Feels hotter than it probably should be. Okay, let's get started. Off to a good start. Come on. Come on. And it fell right into the bottom of the water.
Yay.
Okay. That one's doing right things. Well, kind of. I don't know. It's like moving around in a circle and she's having a moment, but we're gonna work with that.
This is your moment.
Have it. And that didn't disperse at all.
Yay.
I hate water marbling. Okay, it's dispersing over there. It looks like a sad blue omelet. It should be spreading and it's not spreading. Look at that.
It looks like abstract art.
Yeah, I hate it. Can I just fake water marble, please? They don't have to know. I won't tell them. We're gonna try again. Everything is fine. Okay. Disperse. Come on. Okay, that worked really well. Come on, you can do this too. Okay. Not really, but we're gonna keep going. But now it's spinning, and so it's a harder target to hit. This is getting dangerously close to sports. It just looks like a blue ring octopus. It doesn't actually look like what it's... Please, can I stop this? Please?
No. Say goodbye, water.
Bye, water. Okay, let's try not adding the nail polish thinner this time, too. Let's see what happens. Okay, she dispersed right away. She's dispersing. Okay. Oh, great. Most of that was out of focus. Sorry. Okay, that moment right there looks kind of cute. Now what? Do I just lift it out? Probably not.
Yeah.
No, I need to grit the rest, otherwise it's all going to ruin what I have on the stamper.
Do you think that's gonna look horrible if you put it on nail?
Yep. I hate water marbling!
To reset the water again.
No. Which try is this? I'm gonna go for right there. Okay, my finger's in water. It's in the water. I'm picking up the excess polish. I'm trying my best to pay. I think I just touched my nail to the end. Did I do it? Five winter nail arts, we said. It would be fun, we said.
Oh, it doesn't look horrible.
Uh-huh. I also did 4 coats of the not Milky White Shimmer first. For what? For what? I covered literally all of it with this blue.
It looks horrible.
I think it's better than last time.
Yeah, I mean, there was only room for improvement.
You heard it here first, kids. Hit rock bottom, so the only place to go is up. Okay, Okay, I'm gonna do some trying to fix off camera. I went in with more Milky White Shimmer and very carefully tried to clean up the tip of the nail. I also added another stripe on the bottom of my nail where there was a large chunk of blue. It may not show well on camera, but she's not cute as she has little bubbles everywhere and it didn't cover the inner corner of my nail. Honestly, it's a good thing the pinky was cursed and the snowman moment spontaneously happened, so this video is still 5 nail arts because I would not call my sad wet nail a water marbling tutorial. And now the moment you've been waiting for, the grand reveal. I really like how harmonious the colors of this manicure is, as there are still very different designs on each nail, but they all clearly fit within the same manicure. I had some coworkers say that this was the best nail art I've done so far, so let me know if they were lying just to be nice to me in the comments below. And now it's time for voiceover Nick to say goodbye.
So, Nick, how'd it go?
The sweater was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. I thought that the lines were going to be really uneven and messy, but they weren't. And maybe it's just because I can't tell. And, you know, I'll live in that fantasy.
Okay, what didn't go as well?
The gradient on the pinky did not work at all, but I covered it well with the snowman and once again made the smallest, most complicated little figure on the smallest and teeniest little nail. Someone tell me to stop that. And also, never tell me to water marble again. No.
How did water marbling go?
It reminded me of why I hate water marbling.
Okay, but overall?
Overall, it went poorly.
Was it an improvement on last water marble attempt?
Yes, because last water marble attempt was so terrible that not trying would have been better.
What about the snowflake? You haven't talked about the snowflake.
Oh no, she's cute. The snowflake is really cute. It's really simple, and I thought that it was going to be much more challenging, but it came together, and I think it does read snowflake, and the silver tip was a good idea. Thank you, husband.
Yay.
Overall, it's kind of really cute. I haven't done the top coat yet still, because I'm afraid it's going to blur. Comment below which one's your favorite, and let me know if you want me to do any more nail art for any other season. As long as it doesn't involve water marbling, I'll be there. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
Go team.
I mean, that was a chaotic ending.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to use any of that.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
I don't think I said don't forget to like and subscribe, did I? Don't forget to like and subscribe. And this is going to be really awkward when I figure out where to fit this moment in the chaos of what I just filmed.